All right, welcome to Agent Prep with Lillie Hendy. Remember to tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, and go ahead and like this video. Okay, we're going to continue on. This is the source that we're using right now. It is the Texas Real Estate Sales Exam. It is 287 pages, as you see up here where the mouse that I'm moving. And it is an old source, so keep that in mind. There are some questions that the answers are wrong because this was done in 2006. However, it is an excellent source because it has 4 exams. See, exam 1, exam 2, exam 3, exam 4. It is 4 exams of 110 questions, 80 national, 30 state. Now, currently you take 120 questions in the exam and you're having to get a 70 score. So you get 2 minutes per question, okay? However, you don't necessarily take 2 minutes. And it also has the glossary, the vocabulary, that's where I'm using it. And once we finish all of these 4 exams, I'll be moving into 2 new sources that I bought. Already finished the state questions on exam 1. So we're on exam 2 for state questions. And we were gonna start with number 81. So we're going to take a break. I need to take a little break here. And then the answers for exam 2 start right there. Okay. All right. So let's take a... Okay. Back to work. All right. Thanks for everybody waiting. Okay. So we are starting with our state questions, exam number 2, number 81. Okay, so again, this is exam number 2, as we see on here. Okay, from 81 through 110 are the state questions. Okay, change your thinking caps from national to state. Which one of the following terms is most synonymous with the buyer when 2 licensees are functioning as a listing agent and as a sub-agent? A, principal, B, client, C, customer, D, facilitator. See, we did this question on the prior exam. So when we keep doing questions, we start to remember and learn more and understand. So is it a principal, B, a client, C, a customer, or D, a facilitator? So which term is synonymous with the buyer when 2 licensees are functioning as a listing agent and as a sub-agent? Okay, 195. I'm sorry, 195. 81. It is C, right? It is the customer. Because when there's a sub-agent, the buyer agent is not representing a client. They're working with a customer, with a buyer that did not want to sign a buyer's rep agreement. So the sub-agent is in a co-op transaction represents the seller, though the listing agent, through the listing agent, and brings a customer to the transaction. If the buyer were a client or a principal, the co-op agent would be a buyer's agent. Okay, 81D. I'm sorry. 81C. I saw Tanisha's answer D and I said what she wrote. It's feed. They're not a facilitator. So 81C. A facilitator, it would be the sub-agent is facilitating the buyer, okay, that is a customer. However, it says what word is synonymous to the with the buyer, okay? So what is a buyer called under this circumstances? They're called a customer. Okay, Tanisha? They're not a facilitator. It would be the subagent that is facilitating, okay, the buyer. But it says, what term is most synonymous with the buyer under this circumstances? It is C, the customer. Okay, 81C. A buyer is purchasing a house using third-party financing as described in Texas Real Estate Commission TREC third-party financing condition. Addendum. According to the addendum, financing approval will be deemed to have been approved when the lender determines that the buyer has satisfied the lender's requirements relating to what? A, property appraisal, buyer's credit history and employment record. B, buyer's assets, income and credit history. C, property inspection report and appraisal and buyer's income and credit history. D, property inspection report and appraisal and buyer's assets and credit history. So third-party addendum, okay? Lender determines buyer has satisfied lender's requirement relating to what? So 82B, financing approval applies only to the buyer's qualifications for the loan. Approval of the property collateral for the loan relates to appraisal, condition, title, and survey. The buyer's approval for financing and approval of the collateral are both required for final loan approval. Okay, so the buyer needs to, the lender is reviewing buyer's assets, income, and credit history by the third-party financing addendum. So it, my cat just jumped. My cat just jumped on my computer. Sorry, on my keyboard. Okay, so here, 82 was buyer assets, right? Do you all understand that one, 82B? So that's the financing approval, right? There's the buyer financing approval, and then there's the property approval. So they're two different things. Okay. Number 83. Andy Wong filed an application for licensure with the Texas Real Estate Commission, TREC. The application was rejected. Which of the following would be the reason for which the application was rejected? A, Andy had not been a resident of Texas for a full 6 months before filing the application. B, Andy had not found a broker with whom he wished to enter into an independent contractor working agreement. C, in trying to meet the education requirements for licensure, Andy failed to obtain a passing score on 2 of the 9 core courses, and now we have 6 courses that he took. He did well on law of agency, law of contracts, and principal courses he took. And D, Andy turned 17 on his birthday last month. So, which one do y'all think here? Which one would the TREC reject their application? Nothing yet, nothing yet. 83. And I'm waiting because of the delay. 83D so far. That's right. You have to be what? 18 years of age. And now we require 180 hours course, right? Not 150. And it's 6 courses, right? 2 of principal, which is considered, 1, and then 4 other courses. So they call it 5 courses, but we have 2 books, 2 30-hour classes of principles. So 83 was D. Wait. Okay, what are you thinking, Lillie? All right, number 84. Which of the following would, okay, so you said to wait. Are you thinking about it? Do you need an explanation? Okay, I'll keep reading till you answer. Okay, 84. Which of the following would not be exempt from the seller disclosure requirements of Section 5.008 of the Texas Property Code? A, a condominium unit currently occupied by the owners. B, a home being sold by a bank that received title through a deed in lieu of foreclosure. A home being sold by the executor of his estate of his mother, who died last month of the estate. D, a newly constructed single-family residence that will be ready for occupancy. So which one is not exempt? Okay, good, Lillie. You needed more time. Great. I'm glad you had it right. So yeah. So which one is not exempt from seller's disclosures? Banks are exempt, executors are exempt, newly constructed properties are exempt because they've never been lived in. So the only one here that applies is a condominium because that is a residence, which uses a separate contract than the 1-to-4 residential listing, 1-to-4 residential contract. Okay, so number 84. Okay. Oh, that was a long answer there. Okay, 84A. You know, when the weather is cooler, my throat, and when I'm doing the class and always talking, my throat gets a little sore. 84A. When I used to do these in person, students get to participate. Those that would come in person, okay? Then we take turns reading a question. That way you also get to understand what you're reading. The minimum point font size that the type in the information about brokerage services notice may be printed in is A, 16, B, 12, C, 10, or D, 8. We did this one also in exam number 1. And Morris, I have about 22 more minutes, Morris, and then I'll feed you. Answers, 85. Gosh, I wish there was no delay between us and you guys through Facebook. Okay, so 85 is C. Okay, it is, the font is 10. That's on the information about brokerage services. It has to be at least a 10. Okay, 86. Who requires a licensee preparing a competitive market analysis, CMA, to include the following statement? This is an opinion of value of comparative market analysis and should not be considered an appraisal. In making any decision that relies upon my work, you should know that I have not followed the guidelines for development of an appraisal or analysis contained in the Uniform Standard of Professional Appraisal Practice of the Appraisal Foundation. You know what? These questions are sounding so familiar, and I'm wondering if we were supposed to be on exam 3. Hold on. Yep, we're supposed to be on exam 3. So my writing was correct. I just didn't think we had gotten that far. So guys, that's why I keep saying, oh, I remember this question, because we're reviewing exam 2 again instead of exam 3. So I'll finish with this one and we'll start exam 3. Okay, so who is it that requires license preparing that? A, the Texas Real Estate Commission, B, the Appraisal Foundation, C, Fannie Mae, or D, the Appraisal Licensing Board. Okay, 86A. Okay, any other takers? 86A. So we're going to shift to exam number 3. My bad. Because that's normally where we had done it. These are already in the review of a prior recording. Although, you know, that prior recording was pretty bad because that's when my Facebook wasn't working and I had to do it on my phone. So that's okay. We'll continue on this way because this is a better presentation than what it was done on my phone. Okay. Number 87. So 86 was A. Very good, Nina. 87. What must the Texas Real Estate Commission do before revoking a salesperson or broker's license? A. Post a public notice. B. Consult the Attorney General. C. Hold a hearing. Or D. Solicit public comment. I mean, do we want to know what the public knows and post the public? That's more for foreclosures, divorces, or marriages, right? And so they have to hold a hearing. Thanks, Curtis. So we have to hold a hearing. I appreciate that. Hey, repetition, right? So 87C. I wish I could meet a lot of you in person. I used to have fun when students would come in person to the office. Yet right now we don't have an office, and I've been doing all these at home. At EXP, we don't have a formal building office to go to. We do have a Regency business offices located. However, if I wanted to teach there, I have to rent an office. If I want to go work there and be quiet like at a library, I can go and use it anytime without paying. Okay, 88. Responding to or facilitating inquiries about the ancestry or familial status would put the licensee in the position of violating what? A, only the federal fair housing law. B, only the state fair housing law. C, federal and state laws as well as the Texas Real Estate Commission rules. Or D, only the Realtor Code of Ethics. So 88. I think next time I'll use music from Pandora so we don't have to hear the commercials. So 88, because I work with the radio on most of the time, the majority of the time. So 88, takers. 88C, Fair Housing Laws, Texas Real Estate Commission, and the Realtor Code of Ethics all address the issue. Okay? Federal, state laws, as well as the Texas Real Estate Commission rules. Morris, no, Morris, come on. I'll be feeding you in a little bit. Not yet. So 88C. You know, cats and dogs are like kids. They get persistent. Oh no, Annabelle, not only. Be careful with words only, must, always, never. Those are usually wrong unless all of them have only on it. In this case, 3 of them had only. So the only correct one that didn't have only was C. So the answer is C. Okay, there he goes. So cats like dogs, like kids also, you know, want our attention when we're busy. And do you know that whenever I'm on my phone, they're also grabbing my hand? It's like, okay, it's attention, time for attention for me. Okay, 89. When an agent does not fulfill the fiduciary duties and perform as promised, how may the client end the relationship? A, reliction by verbal notification. B, unilateral rescission in writing. C, listing with another broker. Or D, notifying the local multiple listing service. Well, you see, they never interacted with the MLS. Okay, they can't have two listings at the same time with different brokers, or a listing with different brokers, right? So it's either going to be verbal or in writing, right? So that process of elimination, get rid of two right away. 89B, when the agency appointment is created by a written agreement, it can be terminated by a written notice. The client desiring to terminate would do well to consult legal counsel to make certain termination is done properly. And so we have a termination of contract and also a termination of listing promulgated contract amendment. 89B as in boy. All right, number 90. Samuel is under contract with a buyer for the sale of his house, their house. He has agreed to give the buyer a 10-day termination option, and as described in paragraph 23 of the Texas Real Estate Commission. Okay, Samuel has been paid $350 option fee, and the buyer has deposited $2,500 as earnest money with an escrow agent. Okay, the escrow agent can be an attorney or at the title company. If the buyer delivers a notice of termination to Samuel on the 10th day, Samuel is obligated to do what? And who is Samuel? That's the seller, right? They're under contract with the buyer. A, release $2,800 to the buyer and keep $50 non-refundable part of the option fee. B, release 1/2 of the earnest money to the buyer and retain the other 1/2 plus the option fee. C, release all of the earnest money to the buyer and retain the entire option fee. Or D, release all of the earnest money and option fee to the buyer because the buyer terminated within the contractually prescribed time frame. Okay, so 90, don't let the $50 throw you off. That's what we get to pay, referral fee or a gift, right? That's a gift of $50, but not in this case. Option fee never gets returned. Okay, that's a never, never. So release all the earnest money to the buyer and retain the entire option fee, correct. Okay, what number was that? 90C. 91. Newlyweds Jack and Jane have just acquired a farm of several hundred acres 10 miles from the city and established it as their homestead. How much of the farm is protected from seizure and forced sale under the Texas constitutional homestead protection? A, 100 acres maximum. B, 200 acres maximum. C, the entire farm. D, 10 acres including the land upon which the house sits. Well, it's not the entire farm, and it's not just 10 acres, okay? So there's a certain amount of acres that are permitted. (91B), okay, 200 acres. Anyone else? Nina, any answer from you? Curtis, you haven't been participating. You're learning. Although you were participating one of the other ones. 91B protects 200 acres. So think about it as it's a couple. They're 200 acres, okay? That's a way to remember that. 91B. All right, 92. Who or what requires a person to hold a license issued by the Texas Real Estate Commission prior to performing acts of brokerage such as selling, leasing, or locating real property for sale or lease? A, TREC. B, the Governor of Texas. C, the Texas Legislature. D, the Texas Statute of Frauds. So who requires a person to get a license issued by TREC? So that tells you who or what requires that a license that is issued by TREC. Yeah, I know, you are, Curtis. Okay, well, TREC issues the license, but who gives TREC the right? Legislature. See, Texas legislature enacted the Texas Real Estate License Act, TRELA, a law that establishes licensure requirement, and creates the Texas Real Estate Commission to administer the law and to issue licenses. 92C. Very good, Annabelle. All right, 93. Oops, I'm showing you the answers, right? Okay. Sarah, salesperson, has a signed buyer representation agreement to represent Bernie and Bonnie, buyer. She shows them a home listed by Lisa List-A-Lot, who tells Sarah that the sellers are desperate and that she is sure that she can get them to accept $10,000 less than the asking price. What should Sarah do? So Sarah represents the buyer, right? A, call the sellers and tell them what Lisa said. B, suggest that the buyers make a lowball offer. C, keep the information to herself. D, share the information with Bernie and Bonnie. So we represent the buyer. Okay, so Sarah represents the buyer. Anything that the buyer agent learns from whether the listing agent or anybody else, and it's important to the buyer, then we need to disclose. The fiduciary duty of disclosure requires that she, as the buyer agent, share the information with Bernie and Bonnie, because we have a buyer's representation agreement signed. They are our client. So we owe them our fiduciary duties, and then let them decide how they want to proceed when making their offer. 93D. Okay, did you get that? Because you said C, keep the information. No, we don't have a right to keep information like that to ourselves, Nina. Okay, if we are a sub-agent and it's still information that is disclosed. Now, if the listing agent disclosed it to us and we're a sub-agent, yes, we keep the information to ourselves because we don't have a buyer's rep agreement and they are a customer. So legally, we are representing the seller. But in this case, they have a signed buyer representation agreement. Therefore, we need to disclose. Number 94. Your seller says that he doesn't want to accept any offers from buyers who are represented by a buyer's agent. As the listing agent, what should you do when a buyer's agent brings an offer on the listing on behalf of his client? A, present it to the seller. B, send it back to the buyer's agent. C, throw it away. D, file it and forget about it. Oh my gosh. I wonder what realtors do that. So all offers we get, okay, must be presented. Right? Unless we have it in writing from the seller that they don't want us to present it. So 94 is A. $95. When a client tells an agent to do something illegal, what should the agent do? Run, man. Get the heck out of there. A, obey without question. B, sue the principal. Sorry. C, terminate the agency relationship. Or D, ignore the order. Oh, I wrote 93C. What did I write? 94C? Oh, on 93, what did I write? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for watching that. See what I wrote? Thank you, thank you. Good thing is I learned from one of my students, I can go back and correct. Yes, it's 93D. Disclose, disclose, disclose. Share the information. You see, I was explaining that we don't keep the information to ourselves, and I wrote down C, right? Share the information with Bernie. Okay, so number 94. You were correct, Nina. It's me screw it up. I wrote it wrong. Okay? I wrote it down wrong. I typed it wrong. So 94, let's see, what is, oh, I already wrote the answer. 94A. 95C, okay. So we terminate the agency relationship. That is correct. Yeah, I didn't give you guys a chance to answer 94. So we don't obey without question. We don't sue the principal. We don't ignore the order. We terminate the agency relationship. Okay? A licensee should immediately withdraw. I said run from the relationship when requested to do something illegal. I have. I think you were explaining why C was not the correct. I was explaining why C was not the correct answer. Oh my gosh. Oh. That tells me it's been a long day. So 95. We're on 95, right? Yeah, people are so happy. Sue everyone. Yeah, right. It's going to cost us a lot of money. And you know, people create issues and problems on properties, right? So that they can sue the insurance and get money, or sue the owners and get money. It's amazing what people do to make money. Okay, so did I type the right answer, 95C? Yes. All right, guys. Okay, so that was the last question for today. But next time, we're starting with exam 3. Okay? So exam 3, I had it written down right. I don't know why I doubted myself. So exam 3 next time on page 211 is where we will start next time, and we will start with question 81. See, look, there's a Scantron so that it can be printed and you can take the exam without interruptions. Okay, so we will start on page 225, question number 81 on exam 3, 333. Okay, so let me write that down. So exam 3, 81 on page 225. And the answers, I'm going to program this so that it's ready for next time. Journal, gratitude. Time to feed my kitty cat. Oh, that's my alarm, and I call it my unwind alarm. And my grandchildren tease me, hey Lily, it's your unwind alarm. It goes off at 8 o'clock. 35, let's see. Man, almost, yeah, 235. Okay. So the answers will be on page 235. So I have it set up. Okay, any questions? Thanks so much. I have my test coming up soon, as this was really helpful. It was nice talking. Who did I talk to today? No, I talked to Annabelle today. She's in Austin. You're very welcome, Nina. I'm glad that it's helping you out. And okay, are all of you on the Messenger group? Either Texas, San Antonio, or RGV? Because on the Messenger group, you can also interact with each other, and I send reminders. If I'm not going to have a class, I don't send a reminder. Like last Saturday, was it Saturday? Yes, I didn't have a class. I was still having issues with internet, so I did not send a reminder. You can send me a text like Annabelle did today and ask if we were having class. So again, are all of you on one of my Messenger groups? So that I don't have to look each one of you up. Because there you can interact and you can get a final reminder, and you don't have to be watching out for the email. Because right now, my assistant who sends out my emails every week, her husband's in the hospital in the Philippines, not with COVID, however, he's in the hospital, so she didn't send out an email to invite people to the class today, any of the new registrants. So I then send the reminders through my Messenger group. And if you're not on the Messenger group, and you don't look inside the Facebook group, that you won't know for sure if I'm having the class or not. Any questions? So we went through how many? We went through 15 national state questions. So you're in Austin also, Nina. Yes, subscribe to group thread. Okay, so you're in the Texas real estate exam group. Okay. Oh yeah, I see your reply. I just saw the Texas group. Okay, because I have a Texas group, a San Antonio group, and an RGV, Rio Grande Valley group. Okay. If no questions, again, guys, I ask you to please visit my YouTube channel. It's the least favor you can do to me to support me in the growth of my YouTube channel, because you know what? You may be watching me and learning from me later to create your own YouTube channel to educate the public, the buyers, the sellers, and attract buyers and sellers that are relocating either where you live or relocating from other states. It's an amazing tool, and you can eventually also earn money from YouTube. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. However, have to have 1,000 subscribers before it can be monetized, and I've been growing really slow because no questions from Nina. Okay, you're very welcome, Anna. And no questions from Tanisha. You're all very welcome. Okay, thanks for attending, and until next time. Okay, some of you already subscribed to my channel. I'm gonna keep repeating it. Please, please, please visit my YouTube channel, Living in San Antonio, Texas, and subscribe to my channel. And you can help me out also by letting one of the videos run to the end, and it YouTube gives me credit for people watching it. And also click the little bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video or post a new video. Okay, great pointers on the Facebook page earlier. Yes, I tell you what, a lot of us learned, a lot of us that moved from other agencies to another agency, Facebook won't let us change the name on there because they think we're misleading the public, even though we're still doing real estate, that we were with one company and now we're with another company. So leave the company name out of the banner name. You put the company name as we're required within the jobs, okay? Then in there is where, and you'll learn some of this, but look at this. I was in the real estate Facebook for what, 7 years with one company, and I moved. I didn't know about that. I learned the hard way. I tried and I tried and I tried technical things, technical issues. I've asked Facebook so many times to let me change it. So I ended up creating a new business page, which is still Lillie Handy Dominguez. Thanks, Curtis. Yes, you did. And I'm now going to create a new business page just for these prep classes. And I'm also going to create one on YouTube because I'll be able to do live Q&As also on YouTube, okay? But one thing at a time. So thanks for your cooperation, for participating, for learning, and preparing for your exams. Don't give up and get frustrated and be upset with yourself if you happen to not pass the exam, even if it's by 1, okay? That means there are still things that are important for you to study and still learn and prepare. Just let it go, move on, keep studying, okay? That's part of, it's like getting a degree, okay? It takes a lot of work and practice. Don't punish yourself. Don't get all bent out of shape. I know I used to, okay? Just keep practicing, keep learning. You're missing some words, education, so keep learning because you're gonna be helping real life people out in the world and you need to know and understand the material, okay? But you're gonna learn it predominantly out in the field. Okay, with that said, catch you later. Until next time, good night. All right, welcome to Agent Prep with Lillie Hendy. Remember to tap that subscribe button and click the little bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, and go ahead and like this video.